The story begins beneath skies filled with lightning, where a helicopter flies near an erupting volcano. Meanwhile, Zhongshan Road is pure chaos, with a bus and several other vehicles racing forward at tremendous speed. The bus is packed with people carrying luggage, clearly evacuating in a hurry. One man curses their terrible luck, recalling how an underwater earthquake and the eruption of Mount Fuji killed tens of thousands of people only a few days ago, yet somehow their own area now has to evacuate too. Suddenly, the lady beside her expresses concern that they left so quickly she couldn't bring anything, meaning she'll have to buy supplies once they reach Jiangnan City. The man beside her immediately questions whether he hasn't seen the news, because the goods from Walmart and Ali warehouses in Jiangnan City have already been completely removed. Another man cuts in that this is old news, since Dongming Lake in Shengcheng dried up that very day, while the Darundong warehouse was emptied as well. The lady is stunned, estimating that those supplies must be worth hundreds of billions, only for another person behind them to correct her that the real figure should be in the tens of trillions. Then a guy warns everyone that the missing supplies and constant natural disasters are only the surface, urging them to open their eyes because the end of the world is coming. The lady wonders whether it really is the apocalypse, while the man beside her challenges the claim, adding that if the world truly is ending, he's actually looking forward to it, because that's when all living beings become equal. Hearing those words, the man silently reflects that even at the end of their world, there is never a day when all living beings are truly equal. And he knows that better than anyone, because he has already lived through the disaster himself. His memories return to a massive monster emerging from beneath the ground, its enormous mouth packed with human bodies. In his previous life, he is nothing more than an ordinary delivery man, completely horrified by the creature and unable to understand what he is seeing. The apocalypse descends after an abnormal release of solar energy causes atmospheric temperatures to rise sharply, triggering frequent crustal movement and forcing monsters hidden underground to finally surface. The old world collapses, and a new world with a completely different order takes its place, with supplies becoming desperately scarce. People are willing to gamble their lives over something as small as a packet of instant noodles. The ladies are even doing everything they can for a single ham sausage, and everyone is forced to give up everything just to survive. The man remembers that nightmare, clearly, because he has been reborn from that apocalypse, returning to 1 month before everything begins. Just then, someone grabs the man's arm and calls for his attention. It's the lady from earlier, now flirting with him while admitting that all the apocalypse talk has scared her a little. But when the man waves her off and apologizes because he has something far more important to handle, the lady is left astonished. He gets off the bus, and the doors close behind him. Looking upward, he wonders what matters most once the apocalypse begins. Standing directly in front of the Mr. Hippo warehouse, he already has his answer. Naturally, it's supplies. The man's name is Chen, and as he grabs his uniform, he recalls how his previous life was wasted constantly searching for resources. This time, he plans to prepare everything in advance. The moment Chen reaches the entrance, the manager informs him that arriving 21 seconds late will cost him half a day's salary, and Chen apologizes before entering the warehouse. Once inside, he recalls how the boss fled before the apocalypse in his previous life, leaving his annual salary completely wasted. So as far as Chen is concerned, all these supplies can count as compensation. As Chen takes a step, the ground glitches beneath him, and he casually decides they might as well let him take everything. He extends his arm, releases a wave of energy, and commands space to unfold. Immediately, the enormous racks of supplies begin disappearing as a system screen detects rice, cooking oil, and meat before automatically storing them. Inside another space, the racks reappear one after another, while the system continues its automatic storage. More and more shelves materialize until long rows of supplies are perfectly lined up. Once everything settles, Chen stands on top of one rack and looks across the enormous stockpile before revealing the source of this absurdly convenient robbery. It's his spatial ability. Whenever he unfolds it, anything around him can be placed inside a super large cubic space measuring 10,000 meters in length, width, and height, all according to his will. Even fish and water are stored above him, and Chen admits the ability makes purchasing supplies for $0 ridiculously convenient. By relying on it, He has already dried up 2 freshwater lakes and plundered several cities that are destined to be destroyed once the apocalypse arrives. After all, when the apocalypse begins, even a packet of instant noodles becomes a luxury. Never mind fresh food. Even better, time inside his space is completely frozen, meaning food stays fresh no matter how long he stores it. Overwhelmed, Chen cries in relief because this time he finally won't have to eat dirt during the apocalypse like he did in his previous life. He then claps his hands together, and the system displays the inventory of everything he has harvested so far. After collecting such a ridiculous amount of supplies, Chen finally feels like he can breathe a little easier. But right then, the warehouse doors suddenly open. Someone outside is instructing another person to help move the goods, and the arrivals turn out to be the manager from earlier alongside 2 more delivery guys. The 3 step inside, only to freeze in surprise. The entire warehouse is completely empty. They immediately curse at the sight, while the enraged manager confronts Chen over where all the goods disappeared to. Chen casually responds that he took everything, and just like that, all 3 are left completely stunned. The manager immediately calls Chen a bastard and demands to know how he pulled that off before ordering the other delivery guys to catch him, and they waste no time following orders. But right then, space suddenly glitches beside Chen, and he casually declares that he won't be late anymore. One of the delivery guys reaches out to grab him, only for Chen to vanish straight into the spatial glitch while waving them goodbye like this is somehow a normal way to clock out. The guy looks around in confusion, wondering where Chen went, while the manager can only stare in shock after watching him disappear right in front of them. Somewhere outdoors, another spatial glitch suddenly appears. Chen comes flying out headfirst, but he quickly adjusts himself in midair and manages to land safely on his feet. He identifies this as his second ability, space jump, which allows him to shuttle within a 3-meter space. More importantly, once the apocalypse begins, this ability will let him enter abandoned buildings for supplies and escape safely, and even against mutant beasts, space jump can save his life during a critical moment. With that settled, he grabs the delivery uniform he is still wearing and throws it into the air, declaring his zero-cost shopping mission complete while the manager continues scolding the 2 delivery guys behind him. Then his phone suddenly vibrates inside his pocket. Chen checks the warning and reads that the Earth is experiencing movement, meaning localized natural disasters may occur. So everyone is advised to take precautions. However, the announcement also claims the situation is generally manageable, daily life will not be affected, and people should avoid excessive panic. He immediately recognizes that the official statement is clearly meant to prevent panic, then wonders whether they even know the end is coming. His phone vibrates again, catching his attention. But the moment he checks the screen, his expression turns dark because Jiang Shaoqian is calling him. Chen takes a deep breath and calms himself before answering. The moment the call connects, Jiang Shaoqian immediately confronts him for suddenly disappearing on her and even putting the house up for sale through a real estate agent. She criticizes him for being naive and questions whether he really believes another woman would still want to be with him after he sells the house. Jiang Shaoqian is sitting with another man as she questions his responsibility as a man, claiming that although she does not care about his house, she is still a woman, so unless he gives the house to her as a gift, she will never feel secure with him. Chen simply wonders whether she has anything else to add, which immediately makes her question his attitude. She then gives him one final chance, ordering him to come back immediately and transfer ownership of the house to her, otherwise he can forget about marrying her. Chen calmly responds that he is already on his way back to Shandu and they can talk once he arrives, then immediately ends the call. The memories of his previous life come rushing back. Back then, he and Jiang Shaoqian survived 5 years in the apocalypse together, and Chen searches everywhere for supplies just to keep her fed. He even brings her into a safe zone, knowing that without him, she would have starved to death long ago. But what she eventually does makes every sacrifice feel like a complete joke. In that past life, a man suddenly attacks him from behind, demanding to know why Chen has been returning empty-handed lately and whether he has secretly hidden all the good supplies somewhere else. After leaving Chen lifeless on the ground, the man walks over to Jiang Shaoqian, who is lying on the bed, and declares that Chen is already useless to them. Jiang Shaoqian warns the man not to assume she does not know what he is thinking, adding that if Chen dies, then it only proves he was incompetent. She then slyly remarks that whether the man himself is incompetent will depend on his performance that night. With his body cold on the floor, Chen can only acknowledge just how badly he was wronged in his past life, especially after trusting someone like that enough to leave his back exposed. And this time he intends to make Zhang Xiaochun and Wang Haoyu, the man who seems to have killed him, pay the price. He clenches his fist and vows that neither of them will die easily because he wants them to experience the pain he suffered 100 or even 1,000 times over. His body trembles as he continues tightening his fist, but after a moment, he finally calms himself and releases it. Chen takes another deep breath and shifts his focus back to preparation, knowing the remaining supplies can only be purchased with money. So the first problem is figuring out how to get enough cash. He immediately calls Manager Liu. Once Manager Liu answers, Chen greets him and agrees to sell his house for half the price. There is only one condition. He wants the payment in cash, and he wants it immediately. A little later, Zhang Xiaochun and Wang Haoyu are standing outside the Dream real estate building when a cab pulls up in front of them. Chen steps out, and the moment Zhang Xiaochun sees him, she immediately complains about how long she has been waiting. Instead of entertaining her, Chen completely ignores her, walks right past, and orders her to move aside. Wang Haoyu then blocks Chen's path with his bat, clearly furious as he confronts him over selling the house. He accuses Chen of daring to sell their house and threatens to make sure he will not see the sun the next day. Before Wang Haoyu can do anything else, a hand suddenly shoots forward at incredible speed. It is Chen's hand. He grabs Wang Haoyu by the neck so fast that he does not even have time to react, then slams him directly onto the ground. Chen coldly declares that his belongings are his to handle however he wants. Zhang Xiaochun is furious as she grabs Chen's jacket, demanding that he let go while yelling for help and calling him a murderer. Chen answers by swinging his arm and slapping her straight across the face. She crashes to the ground, completely unable to believe what Chen just did, while Wang Haoyu turns pale and struggles to make him let go. Chen gives him a sinister smile, warning that there is no need to worry because he will not die too quickly. He finally releases Wang Haoyu, who immediately scoots away while coughing, then casually enters the Dream real estate building as Zhang Xiaochun rushes over to check on the trembling Wang Haoyu. She quickly turns back towards Chen, demanding that he kneel and apologize before she gets angry, or he can forget about marrying her in this lifetime. Instead, Chen only gives them a menacing glare. That alone sends Zhang Xiaochun running, with Wang Haoyu scrambling after her and urging her to wait, while Chen watches the pair flee and dismisses them as worthless. A little later, a man who appears to be Manager Liu politely hands Chen a drink and offers to buy his house, wanting to know his opinion. Inwardly, Manager Liu calculates that the property is worth more than 1 million, so Chen selling it for only 700,000 makes him look like a complete fool, especially when a quick turnaround could earn several hundred thousand in profit. Chen agrees, but there is one condition. He wants the entire payment at once and needs it that very day. Manager Liu readily agrees, arranging for them to sign the contract and transfer the contract immediately, while the ownership transfer can be completed next Monday. Chen accepts the arrangement, privately considering that by then, people can choose any house they want as long as they actually dare to live inside it. Soon, his phone receives a bank notification confirming that 700,000 yuan has been transferred into his current account. After leaving Dream Real Estate, Chen considers the disasters currently happening in different places. However, Shandu sits inland within the Central Plains, putting earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions far away, and with official debunking mixed in, daily life here remains surprisingly orderly. Then, a high-interest loan flyer stuck to an electric pole catches his attention. Chen immediately contacts the loan company and inquires whether he can mortgage property using a property certificate. Not long afterward, he arrives at Hanhai International, where Great Sea Loans Limited Company operates. Inside, someone casually calls him handsome, while pointing out that his house does not seem particularly valuable. Chen recognizes the man and directly checks how much he can borrow. The man is Wang Haoyu's big brother, Wang Dahai, someone who dies in the mouths of mutant beasts during Chen's previous life. Wang Dahai offers at most 500,000, but only if Chen leaves the property certificate with him first. Chen firmly pushes for another 100,000 and wants the money immediately, assuring him that with 1 week, he can turn a profit and repay everything right away. Wang Dahai smirks inwardly, taking Su Chen for a gambler. In his view, someone involved in gambling would sell even his own parents for profit. Yet Su Chen is still stupid enough to believe he can turn everything around today. Still, as long as the property certificate is mortgaged to their company, everything else is negotiable. A short while later, Su Chen checks his phone again, and another bank notification confirms that 600,000 yuan has entered his current account. Elsewhere, Zhang Xiaochen and Wang Haoyu step out of a cab. Zhang Xiaochen complains that she only wanted to take back her own house, yet Su Chen actually laid his hands on her, so he has to pay the price. Wang Haoyu curses him as well, promising to make Su Chen pay and have Wang Dahai kill him. Then Zhang Xiaochen suddenly notices Su Chen walking ahead and gets Wang Haoyu to confirm whether that really is him. After confirming it, Wang Haoyu wonders what Su Chen is doing there, while Zhang Xiaochen proposes following him to find out what he has been doing these days. Su Chen heads toward the Green City Hotel because, according to his memories, many commercial buildings eventually collapse beneath the impact of seawater backflow and rapid freezing during the severe cold, while the Green City Hotel survives the different natural disasters all the way to the end. Approaching the entrance, he recalls hearing that the presidential suite is fully equipped and even includes a swimming pool. Using the hotel as a base does not sound bad at all, especially if he needs somewhere suitable for long-term living. Inside, Su Chen looks around while considering that even though many warehouses were emptied beforehand, there was still no shortage of hot meals and ingredients stored in the warehouse. A female staff member notices him and introduces herself as Lu Xinrui, the hotel restaurant manager, before offering her assistance. Su Chen immediately wants to order a banquet for 1,000 tables. The request catches Lu Xinrui completely off guard, but she confirms that the hotel can handle it and explains that their options include 5,000 per table, 10,000 per table, 30,000 per table, and even 100,000 per table. Inwardly, she takes in Su Chen's grand demeanor and starts suspecting that this young man is actually some hidden second-generation rich heir. Su Chen settles on 10,000 per table, bringing the total to 10 million. However, he only intends to place a 50,000 deposit for now, with the food delivered to the address he provides and the remaining balance settled 1 week later, all while privately wondering whether the Green City Hotel really operates at such a high standard. Lu Xinrui accepts the 50,000 deposit and leads him toward the payment area. Inwardly, she estimates that the ingredients alone will probably cost around 50,000, but gaining a connection with someone wealthy makes the gamble worthwhile, especially since being smooth is one of the most important parts of business. She then checks how she should address him, and Su Chen provides his name. Lu Xinrui politely addresses him as Mr. Su and wonders whether he is preparing to get married. Su Chen confirms it, then has her help reserve a presidential suite as well. A little later, Su Chen walks out of the hotel in an excellent mood. 10 million yuan worth of dishes has been secured with only a 50,000 deposit, and as for that final payment, in the scorching post-apocalyptic world, a single block of ice can eventually be worth billions. Back inside, Lu Xinrui happily assumes Su Chen booked the presidential suite for his honeymoon and remarks that whoever marries him is incredibly fortunate, completely unaware that two figures have been eavesdropping behind her. Those two are Zhang Xiaochen and Wang Haoyu. They approach Lu Xinrui, and Zhang Xiaochen politely tries to find out what Su Chen was doing there earlier. Instead of answering immediately, Lu Xinrui first wants to know who she is. Zhang Xiaochen quickly gives Su Chen's name and identifies herself as his girlfriend. Hearing that, Lu Xinrui considers her extremely fortunate because Su Chen just ordered a 1,000-table banquet and paid a 50,000 deposit. At the same time, she privately judges Zhang Xiaochen as only a 7 at best, although her temperament even surpasses hers, leaving her wondering why rich people always seem to like this type. Zhang Xiaochen and Wang Haoyu are both stunned. Zhang Xiaochen refuses to believe it and wants to know how Su Chen could possibly have enough money to order a 10 million yuan banquet. Lu Xinrui casually explains that wealthy people enjoy hiding their identities because they worry their partners might only want their money, so some of them wait until the wedding day before revealing everything. That explanation immediately gets Zhang Xiaochen thinking, and she wonders whether such people also suddenly disappear and use cold violence before marriage, while Wang Haoyu struggles to accept that the bootlicker Su Chen might actually be that wealthy. Lu Xinrui firmly confirms that he is, then shows them her phone as proof that Su Chen has already transferred the 50,000. A little later, Zhang Xiaochun and Wang Haoyu sit on a bench outside the hotel. Wang Haoyu points out that this is a 1,000-table banquet at a 5-star hotel and wonders who Su Chen could possibly be inviting. Zhang Xiaochun immediately decides the answer is obvious. In her mind, Su Chen clearly wants to introduce her to his wealthy circle before finally revealing his identity. Wang Haoyu starts drooling and reaches toward Zhang Xiaochun's chest while wondering what they should do next, but she slaps his hand away and decides she needs to take the initiative by creating opportunities for the bootlicker Su Chen. From there, Zhang Xiaochun begins imagining herself as a wealthy lady, her eyes twinkling as she admits she never expected such a scenario to happen in her life, much less with the bootlicker Su Chen. Looking over his phone, Su Chen calculates that he sold the house for 7 million yuan, took out a high-interest loan of 600,000, and spent 500,000 on the banquet. Still, during his so-called zero-cost purchasing, which is basically stealing, he misses plenty of essential supplies, so even after paying only the deposits, the remaining 800,000 yuan is already looking pretty thin. With that in mind, Su Chen laughs sinisterly. At this point, refusing to squeeze online loan platforms would practically be a waste. And our boy goes all in. He downloads more than 80 loan apps in one shot and takes selfies 30 times for verification, with individual loan amounts ranging from 30,000 yuan all the way down to 30 yuan. After finishing the debt speedrun, Su Chen finally drops his phone with a sigh. A bank notification shows that his current balance has reached 977,000 yuan, leaving him very pleased as he lies on the bed after successfully borrowing around 970,000 yuan. However, there is still no time to relax. Su Chen immediately sits back up because plenty of supplies remain unprepared. Swiping through his phone, he notes that fireplaces, ice makers, ice blocks, and smokeless coal are not normally available in supermarkets, but fortunately, all of them can be purchased online, and the delivery speed is fast. After the extreme heat and severe cold arrive, whether he survives those disasters will depend heavily on whether he has enough of those two resources. So Su Chen immediately makes a call to check the current price of smokeless coal. Once the other side gives him a rate of 2,501 yuan per ton, he places an order for 2,000 tons. The price works for him, but instead of paying everything up front, he offers a 500,000 yuan deposit first, with the remaining payment coming after the goods arrive. With the coal handled, Su Chen contacts an ice factory and places another massive order for ice blocks. After settling the basics over the phone, both sides agree to discuss the rest face-to-face. A little later, Su Chen leaves his apartment, only for a woman nearby to recognize him. He recognizes her as Li Na, while Zhang Xiaochun is with her, and she remarks that they have not seen each other for a long time and that Jiang Xiaochun has been missing him these past few days. Su Chen, however, has a very different opinion of this close friend, especially since she was the one who allowed Jiang Xiaochun to occupy his house. Without bothering to play along, Su Chen directly questions whether what she misses is actually him or his house. Li Na looks upset, insisting that Jiang Xiaochun was only testing him before and criticizing him for being so clueless about how sad Jiang Xiaochun has been. Jiang Xiaochun then approaches more softly, requesting that Su Chen accompany her for a walk. After scolding him yesterday, she is not feeling very well about it and hopes he is not still angry with her. Unfortunately for her, Su Chen has business to handle. He simply walks away, mentioning that he has something to do today and leaving her to take that walk by herself. Jiang Xiaochun is immediately confused by his attitude and complains that Su Chen is acting way too arrogantly, but Li Na suddenly points out that he is getting into a taxi. The moment Su Chen leaves in the cab, Li Na decides they should hurry and follow him, convinced that this must be the final test for her. Not long afterward, Su Chen reaches Ronghua Ice Factory, where a man is already waiting. The man is Mr. Wu. After shaking Su Chen's hand, Mr. Wu confirms that he must be Mr. Su, and expresses surprise at how young he is. Since the main details were already settled over the phone, Su Chen skips the small talk and immediately checks how long the factory needs to produce 2,000 tons of edible ice. Mr. Wu confidently explains that his factory may not boast about everything, but when it comes to efficiency, they are absolutely among the best. 2,000 tons of edible ice can be completed within 3 days, at 400 yuan per ton, bringing the total cost to 800,000 yuan. Su Chen accepts the price without hesitation. He transfers 100,000 yuan as the deposit and instructs Mr. Wu to deliver everything to the address he provided 3 days later. Mr. Wu readily agrees. The moment his phone confirms that the 100,000 yuan payment has arrived, Mr. Wu's eyes practically light up. Laughing, he becomes curious about why Su Chen needs such an absurd amount of ice, wondering whether there is some massive event coming up, while also hoping they can cooperate again later, with the price still negotiable. Su Chen casually explains that he plans to donate the ice to Alishan for charity, and that answer completely puzzles Mr. Wu. As Su Chen's taxi drives away, Mr. Wu can only marvel that an 800,000 yuan deal was settled right at the entrance. This young customer really is something else. Then another taxi suddenly stops. Mr. Wu wonders whether another customer has arrived for business without an appointment, only for Jiang Xiaochan and Li Na to step out. Jiang Xiaochan immediately claims that Su Chen is her fiancé and questions what Mr. Wu was discussing with him earlier. Hearing that, Mr. Wu has no idea what kind of performance this is supposed to be. Almost like somebody suddenly dragged him into a detective drama. Awkwardly, he reveals that Su Chen just ordered 800,000 yuan worth of ice from the factory. Both women are stunned. 800,000 yuan. For freaking ice. At this point, Li Na and Jiang Xiaochan become even more convinced that Su Chen must be some ridiculously wealthy second-generation rich kid. Li Na then questions whether Su Chen ever explained why he needed that much ice. Mr. Wu reveals the same answer he received earlier. Su Chen plans to donate it to Alishan for charity, and now both Li Na and Jiang Xiaochan are completely baffled. Meanwhile, Su Chen has already moved on to a restaurant. With all the necessary items purchased, he decides it is finally time to enjoy himself before the apocalypse arrives. A waiter greets and welcomes him inside, while Su Chen recalls that during his previous life, he was constantly buried in work. Forget visiting fancy restaurants, even sitting down at some small cafe felt like a luxury. Looking through the menu, he immediately confirms that this really is a high-end restaurant, with average spending already reaching 4 digits. Then something strange catches his attention. One menu item is literally represented by a question mark and costs 17,000 yuan. Naturally, Su Chen wants to know whether the restaurant is seriously selling him a question mark for 17,000 yuan. The waiter explains that the dish is personally created by the head chef of Yalin Music Restaurant, with the exact meal depending entirely on the chef's inspiration. That sounds interesting enough for Su Chen, so he chooses it. While waiting, Su Chen picks up the Chinese classic Shanhai Jing and recalls what happened at the beginning of the apocalypse in his previous life, when a strange force caused countless creatures to mutate. The monstrous serpent described inside Shanhai Jing, which appears amid floods, strongly resembles the mutated serpent he encountered before. However, rather than calling the phenomenon mutation, Su Chen prefers another term, atavism. Around that moment, a woman approaches while carrying his dish. She greets Su Chen and introduces herself as the head chef of Yalin Music Restaurant, explaining that the meal has been specially designed for him based on his temperament. The moment Su Chen recognizes her, he is astonished. She is Hell's chef, Duanya. In his previous life's apocalypse, Hell's chef possesses a magical culinary ability capable of turning decay into food, producing dishes so tempting that almost nobody can resist them. Unfortunately, there is one tiny problem. Those dishes are created using the mutation source found inside monstrous beasts, meaning anyone who eats them is basically marching towards certain death. Seeing Su Chen's strange reaction, Duanya wonders what is wrong and whether he is somehow afraid that a beauty like her would poison his food. She then introduces the dish as dual-faced life. One side consists of tuna fried in brown butter, while the other is deep-fried in puff pastry, creating a steak with 2 completely different flavors meant to leave a lasting impression. Su Chen tries it, and has to admit that the taste really is excellent. The 17,000 yuan price is actually worth it. At the same time, he briefly considers how convenient it would be if Duanya could cook for him after the apocalypse arrives. Then he immediately drops the idea. After all, nobody knows whether Duanya might poison the food. Outside the restaurant, meanwhile, Li Na and Jiang Xiaoqian are still secretly watching him. Li Na mentions hearing that every dish in this place costs more than 10,000 yuan, making her even more certain that Jiang Xiaoqian's husband must be a second-generation rich kid. She even reminds her that once she becomes a rich wife, she better not forget her sisters, especially after Li Na has nearly been eaten alive by mosquitoes while following him around. Jiang Shaoqun confidently agrees. She is definitely going to become a rich wife. A little later, Su Chen heads to bar, which he identifies as Shangdu's golden sales vault. As he enters, Su Chen recalls hearing about some rich kid spending 2 million yuan there without even getting to see what abalone looked like. Soon, he settles onto a couch with a drink, reflecting that places this extravagant will basically disappear once the apocalypse begins. Looking back, he almost regrets never stepping into somewhere like this during his previous life. Before long, several women approach him. They compliment the handsome stranger and wonder why he is not drinking more. So Su Chen joins them for a toast while another woman offers to drink with the girl. As the group continues drinking, Su Chen glances toward the girl beside him. Her name is Yunyun. She looks embarrassed while her friend explains that this is her first time here. Her boyfriend cheated on her, so they dragged her out to have some fun and clear her head. Yunyun complains that the scumbag would not sleep with her yet somehow cheated with an old woman, meaning his taste is seriously questionable. She then wonders whether men really care that much about sleeping with women. Su Chen gives her a very straightforward answer. A real man's reproductive desire is practically engraved into his bones. And apparently, that answer hits differently. Yunyun suddenly downs her entire drink, catching Su Chen by surprise as he points out that she just finished a glass of neat win. She slams the empty glass onto the table, calls Su Chen handsome, and immediately checks whether he is single. That catches him completely off guard. Yunyun leans toward him, turning extremely red as she questions whether he is willing, while her friends cheer her on. As far as they are concerned, that cheating scumbag was never worthy of her anyway, so she might as well be brave and go for it. Unfortunately, the cheering catches Jiang Shaoqun's attention. The moment she looks over, she is startled. Her shout immediately draws Su Chen's attention as she demands to know what he is doing, while Li Na jumps straight to accusing him of cheating. Su Chen does not waste time arguing. He puts his arm around Yunyun and proposes that they head outside, while Yunyun is impressed by how manly he seems. Then he grabs her hand and runs, deciding they should go upstairs. Behind them, Li Na and Jiang Shaoqun immediately give chase, with Jiang Shaoqun ordering Su Chen to stop. Su Chen quickly enters one of the rooms and pulls Yunyun inside before shutting the door behind them. With Yunyun in his arms, he apologizes and starts trying to explain something about Li Na and Jiang Shaoqian, only to trail off. Yunyun, meanwhile, looks extremely embarrassed and reveals that this is her first time. That immediately throws Su Chen off. He checks whether she is drunk and tries to wake her up by flicking her forehead, making Yunyun whine from the pain. Instead of taking things any further, Su Chen advises her not to go outside during these next few days and to stock up on food at home. Yunyun agrees, although she starts to add something else before being cut off. Su Chen opens the door and remarks that love-brained people really should not come to places like this. He almost mentions what is coming in the future, but ultimately drops it, deciding there is no future worth explaining anyway. As he walks away, Su Chen cannot help considering how rare an opportunity like that is. Leaving just like this really does feel like such a waste. Unfortunately, Jiang Shaoqun is still searching. She kicks open one door while declaring that she knows Su Chen is inside, and Li Na goes around knocking on others while complaining that he cannot treat Jiang Shaoqun this way. The moment Su Chen spots the two of them still running around after him, only one conclusion matters. With these two here, tonight's opportunity is completely dead. Su Chen is at a warehouse as huge trucks keep arriving one after another. One driver checks where the 20 large fireplaces should go, while another points out that the warehouse has no refrigerated room and wonders whether he is seriously not worried about the ice melting. Su Chen instructs them to move the fireplaces and ice makers to the innermost section so they will not block the entrance, then place the ice blocks there and keep everything moving. Before long, another man arrives with yet another delivery, this time a shipment of coal. Meanwhile, Wang Haoyu reaches Jiang Shaoqun and reveals that Su Chen has rented a large warehouse in the suburbs, bought a bunch of huge machines, and is currently having everything moved inside. Naturally, Jiang Shaoqun starts wondering what exactly Su Chen is up to. Li Na points out another suspicious sight and wonders whether what they are seeing is a banquet from the Green City Hotel. Even the red carpet has been laid out, so she starts speculating that Su Chen might suddenly propose to Jiang Shaoqun before guests arrive from all directions. Jiang Xiaoqian smugly remarks that even if Su Chen proposes, she might not accept, so Lina should accompany her and see just how sincere he really is. When Jiang Xiaoqian approaches the warehouse, Su Chen notices her, and she immediately questions why he is buying so many things and what exactly is going on. Instead of explaining, he requests her help moving everything first and promises to reveal the reason after they finish. Jiang Xiaoqian is completely caught off guard. In her mind, he really should not be joking around because she is about to become a rich lady, and there is no way she should be doing this kind of rough work. Lina notices her reaction, gives her a nudge, and suggests that this must be a test to determine whether she qualifies to become a rich lady. That explanation instantly does the trick. Jiang Xiaoqian awkwardly agrees that she is not some delicate woman and puts all her strength into carrying one of the boxes. She figures that becoming a rich lady requires being well-rounded, so as long as she survives this test, Su Chen will definitely marry her that very day. Lina seductively offers to help Su Chen as well, while privately figuring that no second-generation rich guy is free from lust. As long as she shows a little, even if she cannot become a rich lady herself, she can at least grab a sip of the soup. Meanwhile, Su Chen smirks, because there is absolutely no reason to waste free labor. With 1,000 tables of food and 2,000 tons of ice to move, even with workers from the hotel and supplier helping out, the whole job will still take ages. By the time afternoon rolls around, someone finally announces that everything has been moved. Jiang Xiaoqian is shaking and dripping with sweat as she complains that Su Chen has seriously gone too far. They have been moving things from morning until evening without even getting a meal, and once she becomes a rich lady, she fully intends to make all his money hers. Lina is just as exhausted and curses Su Chen for making them carry such ridiculously heavy stuff, especially when each of those ice blocks weighs more than 100 pounds. With the so-called test finally over, Jiang Xiaoqian figures it is time for Su Chen to announce that she is the bride and for all those wealthy guests to start appearing. Lina agrees, finding it strange that the food is already getting cold while the guests apparently do not care. Rich people really are built different. On the other side, Su Chen is busy thanking the delivery drivers for their hard work throughout the day. He requests that they accept a small token of appreciation and confirms that the remaining payment will be settled within 1 week, according to the contract. The delivery workers are stunned because, judging from the thickness of each red envelope, there has to be at least 10,000 inside. Their energy instantly returns as they enthusiastically thank Su Chen and address him as boss. At that moment, Jiang Xiaoqian approaches again, clearly waiting for Su Chen to reveal whatever else he supposedly has planned. Su Chen finally remembers to thank her for helping with the work, but then casually informs her that there is no pay and she can leave. That single line nearly fries Jiang Xiaoqian's brain. She insists that Su Chen should stop joking, because there obviously has to be some surprise, the guests are obviously coming, and the two of them are obviously supposed to get married and live a good life together. Hearing the part about living a good life, Su Chen admits that he would like that too, except he has already sold his house and currently owes a mountain of debt, leaving him curious whether she would still be willing to stay with him. Lina immediately rejects the possibility. There is no way Su Chen can actually be broke after spending more than 10 million on that banquet, tens of thousands on restaurant expenses, and even more money on all the supplies piled inside the warehouse. Su Chen finally catches what they have been imagining this entire time and explains that a big boss wanted to perform a good deed, so he simply helped out because they planned to bring people into the Alishan Poverty Alleviation Project. Jiang Xiaoqian's expression turns grim as she grits her teeth, finally grasping what Su Chen is getting at. She immediately charges toward him, cursing him as a jerk for apparently lying to her this whole time. Su Chen easily dodges the attack and fires back over what exactly he ever lied to her about. Jiang Xiaoqian brands him a scoundrel because he is not a second-generation rich person at all, meaning he can completely forget about marrying her. Su Chen only glares at Jiang Xiaoqian, dismissing a gold digger like her as someone nobody cares about. That lands exactly where it hurts. Jiang Xiaoqian becomes completely enraged, then walks away while cursing Su Chen as a bastard and warning that he should just wait, because she will make him regret this. Lina backs her up, declaring that he is completely finished. Su Chen simply calls them idiots, because once the apocalypse arrives, they will be the ones regretting everything. With that mess finally gone, he closes the warehouse doors. At last, all the supplies and resources are ready. From this point on, Chen only has to wait for the apocalypse to descend. Then, he activates his skill. Space Unfold. A brilliant light suddenly fills the warehouse, shining brightly enough to be visible through the windows. By evening, the crescent moon hangs above the Green City Hotel. Wang Dahai is there with Jiang Shaqian, promising that from now on, she should follow Wang Haoyu and enjoy a good life. After all, in Shangdu, his words still carry plenty of weight. Wang Haoyu remarks that after the way Chen treated Jiang Shaoqian, she should have dumped him ages ago and chosen him instead. Jiang Shaoqian responds that she is looking forward to Wang Haoyu's performance. Wang Haoyu confidently reassures her that Wang Dahai can deal with Chen later and take revenge for her at the same time. Jiang Shaoqian figures Wang Haoyu actually is not that bad. More importantly, Wang Dahai is quite wealthy in Shangdu, so being with him is obviously better than sticking with the bootlicker Chen. Then, a familiar voice suddenly cuts in. Chen is casually eating at one of the tables as he remarks that she really is not picky. Jiang Shaoqian is startled by his appearance and immediately questions what he is doing there. Wang Haoyu wastes no time identifying Chen to Wang Dahai as the same guy who laid hands on him earlier. While Wang Dahai calls Chen a punk, Chen keeps calmly eating his meal like this whole circus is interrupting dinner more than anything else. Wang Dahai reveals that he was already planning to find Chen and never expected the guy to have the nerve to touch Wang Haoyu as well. That catches Wang Haoyu's attention, prompting him to wonder how Wang Dahai knows Chen. Wang Dahai explains that Chen previously mortgaged his house to him in exchange for a loan of 600,000, with the repayment deadline coming tomorrow. Wang Haoyu immediately figures they can settle the old score and the new one together. Jiang Shaoqian and Lina stare at Chen with disgust. Jiang Shaoqian mocks him for even daring to borrow money from Wang Dahai when he probably will not clear that debt in his entire life, feeling lucky that she never got involved with him. Lina agrees that Chen seriously does not know his place if he is borrowing money like that. Chen can only sigh because apparently, even enjoying one peaceful meal is too much to request. Wang Dahai leans toward him and warns that the money has to be repaid by tomorrow no matter what. Yet Chen is somehow sitting around enjoying himself at a hotel. Since that makes Wang Dahai look like some kind of joke, even producing 600,000 that very night will no longer be enough to save him. Wang Haoyu is still furious and insists that Chen should not get a damn thing. Wang Dahai should stop wasting time because this useless guy dared to lay hands on him, so they might as well finish him right there. Before things go any further, Lu Xinrui intervenes, wondering what exactly is happening and urging everyone to talk the matter out. Wang Dahai immediately accepts that approach on one condition. Lu Xinrui should make Chen kneel down and apologize to him and his brother, and only then will they consider the matter settled. Looking worried, Lu Xinrui turns to Chen for an explanation. Chen brushes the entire problem aside as nothing more than a few pests. That finally sets Wang Dahai off. He slams his hand on the table and declares that he has already given Chen enough face. Today, Chen is finished, and even if the heavens themselves show up, they will not be able to help him. Right then, another man arrives and questions what Wang Dahai is doing. Clearly annoyed by the disturbance, he demands to know who allowed Wang Dahai to cause trouble there. Both Wang Dahai and Chen recognize him as Gao Chong. Wang Dahai is immediately alarmed, while Chen watches Gai Chong intently. Wang Dahai's attitude flips in an instant as he questions what Gai Chong is doing there. Gai Chong explains that he has important matters to handle that day, so Wang Dahai should not cause trouble there. Otherwise, he can only blame him for refusing to give face. Wang Dahai becomes anxious because Gai Chong may look like a well-known entrepreneur in Shangdu on the surface, but his connections reach deep into the underworld, with plenty of people working under him. Getting on his bad side is obviously a terrible idea. So Wang Dahai immediately agrees, allowing Gai Chong to handle his business while promising to come over and toast him later. Meanwhile, Chen recognizes Gai Chong by another identity entirely, the Skull Crusher. In the previous apocalypse, Gai Chong becomes a major force in Shangdu, with even the Hell's Chef operating under his wing. Then, another memory hits Chen. He once heard that the Green City Hotel was the first place to experience atavistic mutations after the apocalypse. Looking at the situation now, Gai Chang's eventual ability to become the Skull Crusher is likely connected to those atavistic mutations appearing here so early. And if that is really the case, then sorry, but this opportunity is getting stolen. Gai Chang suddenly turns after noticing something. Across the room, Chen is glaring directly at him, already claiming that opportunity as his own. Gai Chang notices the look and remarks that this kid has quite an interesting glare. A lady enters the room, and it turns out to be Duan Ya, accompanied by Gai Chang, who explains that he brought her over exactly as Mr. Sun requested. Duan Ya wonders what Mr. Sun wants to discuss with her, but Mr. Sun only laughs, mentioning that he has long heard about her reputation as a great beauty and is finally getting to meet her in person. However, the vibe is already looking seriously wrong. With an ominous air, he hands Duan Ya a glass of wine and invites her to drink with him. Duan Ya is immediately stunned because she can clearly see something dissolving inside the glass. Meanwhile, someone else casually swirls wine in his hand. It is Chen. Remembering his previous life, he recalls hiding in the basement with Jiang Xiaochan and barely surviving the extreme heat apocalypse. He never expected that after ditching her back then, she would still end up following him there, so this is basically the perfect chance to settle some old scores with Jiang Xiaochan. While peacefully enjoying his wine, Chen watches Wang Dahai and Wang Haoyu nearby. Wang Dahai wonders if the night somehow feels even hotter than the daytime, and Wang Haoyu agrees, explaining that this is exactly why he suggested heading to the pool to cool off, especially since the girls will be coming out in swimsuits later. The two immediately start laughing like certified creeps. Wang Haoyu wonders whether merely imagining it already gets him excited, while Wang Dahai praises the idea and admits that he is pretty clever. A few moments later, Jiang Xiaochen and Li Na arrive. Li Na points out how insanely bright the moon looks, almost like the sun itself, and Jiang Xiaochen agrees that the brightness is definitely unusual. Suddenly, someone grabs Jiang Xiaochen's hand and directs her attention toward the sky. With the moon shining brightly overhead, the person compares his love for Jiang Xiaochen to the moonlight, claiming it shines just as brightly. Naturally, it is Wang Haoyu. He even declares that the moon can serve as the witness to their love, but Jiang Xiaochan completely brushes past the cheesy performance, complaining that it is too hot and urging him to hurry up and take her to the pool. Watching everything unfold, Chen laughs because their precious love is about to explode in a very different way. He raises his glass and welcomes them back to the apocalypse. Right on cue, the moon suddenly turns red, and a violent rumbling rolls through the surroundings. Wang Dahai and the others immediately panic as the ground begins shaking beneath them. Everyone suddenly bolts, leaving Wang Dahai struggling behind as he desperately calls for the others to wait for him. At the same time, Li Na wonders why the moonlight suddenly feels so hot. Jiang Xiaochen cries out that her skin is burning, and Wang Haoyu abandons the pool plan entirely, urging everyone to run back to the hotel instead. Inside the hotel, one of the guys wonders why the outside suddenly became so bright, while another worries about Wang Dahai and the others. However, another guy casually brushes it off, figuring they are probably just flirting with girls and admitting that he really does not understand their boss's idea of happiness. That assumption lasts about 2 seconds. Wang Haoyu and the others suddenly burst through the door with red steam pouring off their bodies. While one guy remains absorbed in his cards, another wonders what the hell happened to them, and someone else notices that their skin is turning red. Jiang Xiaochen and Li Na frantically call for help, repeatedly complaining about the unbearable heat, while Wang Haoyu desperately searches the room for water. Then he spots a massive fish tank and immediately points out that there is water right there. The three waste absolutely no time and rush straight toward the tank before diving inside. Wang Haoyu finally relaxes, claiming that something is coming back to life, but Li Na immediately orders him to move aside, while Jiang Xiaochen demands that he get out of the way because the water is hers. One of the guys stares at the ridiculous scene and wonders what they are doing, while another suddenly remembers Wang Dahai and wonders where he went. At the mention of Wang Dahai, Wang Haoyu's eyes turn bloodshot as he also wonders where he is. As if summoned by the question itself, Wang Dahai appears at the doorway calling for help. His body is covered in burns and still steaming. One of the guys immediately checks whether he is okay, while another urgently calls for burn cream. Wang Dahai, however, only curses Wang Haoyu and wishes him straight to hell. Wang Haoyu hurriedly apologizes, promising that he will never leave him behind again. Meanwhile, back upstairs, Mr. Sun presses Duan Ya over why she still has not touched the wine. Gaiqiang quickly jumps into the conversation, explaining that he already prepared a banquet and starts offering another suggestion, but Mr. Sun shuts him down before he can finish. Mr. Sun coldly declares that in Shangdu, nobody dares refuse wine poured by him, so Gaiqiang should stay out of it. Seeing Gaiqiang immediately back down, Duanya curses him internally. Just to climb closer to Sun Debiao, Mr. Sun's full name, he actually went as far as setting her up. Her anxiety only grows as she reflects on Sun Debiao's reputation. He acts like he is untouchable in Shangdu, has already harmed many women, and today she is clearly his next target. Looking down at the drink, she knows there must be something wrong with it and absolutely cannot drink it, but she has no idea how to escape the situation. Suddenly, an extremely bright moonlight flashes behind her, blinding both Gaiqiang and Sun Debiao. Gaiqiang reacts in confusion, while Sun Debiao struggles with his eyes. Someone quickly calls for the curtains to be closed, and once they shut them, another immediately notices how hot the room has become. Gaiqiang admits that something feels seriously wrong, so Sun Debiao decides they should head downstairs and see what is happening. Hearing that, Duanya finally lets out a relieved sigh. Downstairs, Lu Xinrui struggles to control the chaos, urging everyone to calm down because the rescue team has already been contacted and they only need to remain there and wait. Naturally, some guests are having none of that. One man complains that he has millions at stake every minute and cannot afford to waste time there, while another quickly agrees. Gaiqiang soon arrives downstairs and questions a man he calls Old Mao about the situation. Old Mao explains that the moon suddenly became brighter earlier, causing the temperature to shoot up. Outside, it is already around 70 degrees, and according to the news, nearly 100 people have been injured. Meanwhile, Sun Debiao is already making calls. He contacts someone named Minister Zhao and tries to arrange for someone to pick him up from the Green City Hotel, but after hearing the response, he can only acknowledge the situation. Gaiqiang checks how things are going with Mr. Zhao, and Sun Debiao explains that Mr. Zhao is currently busy making sure there are no power problems. Nobody is available to come over, meaning their situation has become pretty troublesome. Elsewhere, Wang Dahai groans in pain while one of his men applies cream to his burns. He complains that the man could at least be gentler, but the man insists that he needs to get to a hospital. Wang Haoyu immediately points out the obvious problem, wondering how they are supposed to reach a hospital when the outside is basically becoming an oven. Wang Dahai reassures him that it will be fine because Xiao Dao can drive over and pick them up. A few moments later, Xiao Dao is inside a minivan while speaking with Wang Dahai over the phone. He reports that he is currently in the underground garage, and when the heat comes up, he admits that it does seem a little warm. Still, Xiao Dao drives out of the underground garage and assures them that they should remain there because he is coming. The second he gets outside, however, he notices the blinding light and wonders why it suddenly looks like daytime. Then, just as he begins commenting on the temperature, his words trail off. One of the minivan's tires suddenly bursts from the heat. Then, the rest follow almost instantly, leaving the minivan stopped with all of its tires blown. Xiao Dao gets out to inspect the damage and can barely believe that the heat actually destroyed every tire, wondering what kind of insane weather could even cause something like this. With the vehicle useless, he starts running while remaining on the phone with Wang Dahai. He explains that all 4 tires are blown, meaning he cannot make it through right now and has to head back. At this point, they will have to figure something out themselves. Then things somehow get even worse. The soles of Xiao Dao's shoes begin melting. As he runs, they partially stick to the concrete, causing him to trip and crash onto the road. The fall leaves him face to face with a man who has already been burned to death, lying in the exact same position. Xiao Dao immediately pushes himself up while cursing, but when he tries lifting his head, pure horror hits. His own face has melted and become stuck to the concrete. Back at the hotel, Wang Dahai and the others hear Xiao Dao's scream through the phone and are completely horrified. Wang Dahai is so shocked that he accidentally drops the phone, but Xiao Dao's screaming continues even after it hits the floor. From the other end, Wang Dahai's voice keeps calling Xiao Dao's name. Meanwhile, somewhere completely different, a room calmly remains at 25.5 degrees. Not only is the room ridiculously luxurious, it even has its own private pool. And while everyone else is currently being slow-cooked by the apocalypse, someone is peacefully lying on the bed. It is Chen. He is sleeping soundly. The SAW reports that the moon has suddenly released intense heat, pushing outdoor temperatures to 75 degrees while the ground reaches a brutal 100 degrees. Out on the street, Xiao Dao's scorched corpse lies near the city power center, and with nearly 100 casualties already confirmed, the SAW urges everyone to remain indoors to avoid skin and respiratory burns. Then the city power center suddenly overloads. The entire system goes haywire, and seconds later, a massive explosion tears through the facility. Meanwhile, someone trying to reach Xiao Dao only gets the default message that the number he has dialed is unreachable. It is Xiao Dao, and as he concludes that Xiao Dao is probably no more, Wang Haoyu explains that every other room in the hotel is fully booked and this is the last one available, meaning they have no choice but to share. Zhang Xiaoqian immediately objects that this has to be some kind of joke, because there is no way she can share a room with a man, while Lina agrees that they need a separate room. Before they can argue any further, the lights suddenly die. Wang Dahai curses about what the heck is wrong with this place and why there is no electricity, while the men start removing their shirts as the air conditioning shuts down and the temperature rapidly climbs. One of them warns that the room is getting hotter by the second, and the other estimates that the indoor temperature is probably already above 40 degrees, meaning they could suffocate if they stay there. With that nightmare cooking them alive, Wang Dahai declares that they need to figure something out. That is when Jiang Xiaoqian remembers that Su Chen's presidential suite has a pool, so they can simply go there and take over. Meanwhile, Su Chen is peacefully swimming inside his lavish pool, completely unbothered by the chaos outside. He recalls that during the last time, the city's electrical system already had hidden dangers because of improper maintenance, and even after huge amounts of manpower were invested into fixing the problem, the city's electricity still exploded. Coming out of the water, Su Chen remembers that every user connected to the city's electricity was affected, which is exactly why he specifically chooses a room with a swimming pool this time. He has also prepared vertical air conditioners and large backup batteries to keep the room temperature stable, and after getting dressed, he even adds some ice into the mix. Now lounging comfortably on the sofa with a drink in his hand, Su Chen finally remarks that this is much better. Then his stomach suddenly grumbles. Apparently, surviving the apocalypse is hungry work. Su Chen admits that he is hungry and pulls several foods from his space unfold. Grabbing a chopstick, he decides that since this is only the first day of the apocalypse, he will keep breakfast simple. While eating, Su Chen wonders when Jiang Xiaoqian's opportunity is finally going to appear. Right on cue, someone suddenly hammers on Su Chen's door, calling his name and demanding that he open up because they know he is inside. Su Chen opens the door, and cool air instantly spills out of the room. Wang Dahai's eyes become bloodshot in surprise as he feels the cold air and wonders whether the room somehow still has air conditioning. Standing by the door, Su Chen questions what they need. Wang Haoyu immediately spots the ice inside and calls Wang Dahai's attention to it, pointing out that the room does not just have a pool, but electricity and food as well. Lina aggressively confronts Su Chen over the fact that they are practically roasting outside while he is enjoying all this luxury, and Jiang Xiaoqian agrees that he is being far too selfish and should immediately give up the room. Wang Haoyu takes things even further, warning Su Chen to step aside on his own before they are forced to act. Wang Dahai then grabs Su Chen's door and brings up the money he borrowed from him, claiming that it is finally time to repay the debt. He demands that Su Chen hand over the room and consider it interest for those days, then steps inside and threatens to throw Su Chen out himself if he refuses. Unfortunately for him, Su Chen has a much faster repayment plan. Without warning, Su Chen fires his gun. The bullet punches straight through Wang Dahai's huge belly. Wang Dahai trembles in fear as he sees the blood staining his stomach, while Su Chen fixes them with a menacing look and warns that anyone taking one more step forward is dead. Everyone immediately freezes in horror. Jiang Xiaoqian cannot believe Su Chen actually has a gun, while Wang Haoyu questions where he even managed to get one. Meanwhile, Wang Dahai is drowning in pain, but after seeing that Su Chen somehow managed to get his hands on a firearm, he admits that Su Chen is tough and agrees to back off. Then another gunshot erupts. Smoke trails from the freshly fired weapon as Wang Dahai screams about his leg, which now has another gunshot wound. Su Chen orders them to get lost, wondering why they are still wasting time unless they actually want to die. He then announces that he will count to 3 and warns them to disappear from his sight before he finishes. Elsewhere in the lobby, Gao Chang is stunned to discover that the hotel somehow has no food, while Lu Xinrui bows and apologizes. She explains that a few days earlier, someone booked 1,000 tables for a banquet, leaving them almost completely out of ingredients, and the replacement deliveries were supposed to arrive that very day. Sun Debiao, looking downright menacing while pouring water over his body, immediately demands that all remaining food and water be brought upstairs to him. Naturally, the other people are not thrilled about that little survival plan. One of them protests that Sun Debiao is already hoarding the bottled water and now wants all the food too, leaving everyone else with no chance to survive. Another argues that having money does not mean he can do whatever he wants, and if he has so much money, he should simply leave. Someone else insists that the remaining food and water should be divided among everyone instead of being handed entirely to Sun Debiao. His men immediately shut down the resistance, threatening anyone who has a problem and declaring that they will personally throw that person outside. Sun Debiao dismisses the crowd as a bunch of useless people who somehow still have the nerve to challenge him. Right then, Wang Dehai and his group burst into the room screaming for help and accusing Su Chen of killing someone. Gao Chong and the others examine Wang Dehai from a distance, and after recognizing the injury as a gunshot wound, Gao Chong figures that very few people can get their hands on a gun, meaning there must be one seriously tough character living upstairs. At the same time, one of Wang Dehai's men checks how he is doing, but Wang Dehai can barely respond beyond coughing through the pain. Zhang Xiaochun then loudly reveals that Su Chen's room still has electricity, air conditioning, and even a swimming pool. That gets everyone's attention immediately. The crowd surrounds Zhang Xiaochun, with one of them demanding confirmation that she is telling the truth while another warns her not to lie. Zhang Xiaochun insists that she saw everything with her own eyes, including ice cubes, piles of food, fried chicken, and alcohol. Basically, while everyone downstairs is being slow cooked, Su Chen is living in heaven. That is more than enough to get the mob moving. One person complains that he is sweating like he is trapped inside a sauna while Su Chen is upstairs enjoying himself. Another curses over the fact that Su Chen gets ice cubes and air conditioning while everyone else suffers. And someone else declares that they should go upstairs and force him to hand over the ice and air conditioning. Their son only has one priority and announces that they want fried chicken. Watching the crowd get fired up, Gao Chang instructs his men to head upstairs and deal with the situation, adding that they should not need him to teach them what to do. The man assures him that he does not need to worry. A few moments later, the crowd arrives outside Su Chen's door. When Su Chen opens it and questions whether something is wrong, another wave of cold air spills into the hallway. Everyone is immediately stunned. A man begins explaining that they came to discuss something with Su Chen, but internally, he can only marvel at how cool the room feels, like every pore on his body is finally relaxing. More and more people gather around the entrance. One of them brings up the emergency and requests that Su Chen let everyone inside to cool down for a while, since his room is the only one in the entire hotel with working air conditioning. An older man lectures that young people should respect their elders and care for the young, while a lady praises Su Chen as someone who is clearly talented and helpful. Meanwhile, a child is busy peeking inside the room searching for fried chicken. The moment he spots fried chicken sitting on the table, the child yells. Then he immediately goes feral. Drooling over the food, he charges straight into the room while declaring that he wants the fried chicken. The child takes one step inside. Then someone kicks him directly in the stomach and blows him away. The crowd instantly steps aside to avoid getting hit by the child, while the horrified parents call for their son. The one responsible is Su Chen. He warns the parents to control their kids, otherwise he does not mind helping them manage the situation himself. That instantly sends the crowd into a rage. One person protests that it is only a kid and condemns Su Chen for even hitting him, while another outright brands Su Chen a murderer. With their anger boiling over, everyone charges forward, declaring that someone like Su Chen does not deserve to stay in such a room and should be thrown out. From behind the crowd, one man points out that Su Chen is alone and urges everyone to rush him together. He does not even finish. Su Chen fires. The bullet pierces straight through his head, spraying blood across the horrified man beside him. Everyone else freezes as the man falls backward, and once his body hits the ground with smoke rising from the bullet wound in his forehead, all that confidence disappears real fast. Su Chen calmly reminds them that he may be alone, but each of them only has one life.